He once mocked a street beggar for asking for help, but years later, that same beggar became the only person who showed him mercy. This story will make you rethink everything you know about success and failure. Before we get into it, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell. You won't want to miss our next emotional story that truly changes hearts and minds. Let's talk about Marcus Gray. He wasn't just a CEO. He was a titan of industry, one of the most feared and respected figures in the city. To him, the world was simple. The rich were rich because they were smart and worked hard, and the poor, well, he believed they were poor because they were lazy. He was powerful, arrogant, and blinded by his own success. He couldn't imagine a world where he wasn't on top. One crisp morning, Marcus was striding down the street, his mind on a billion-dollar merger. He was in his element, the king of his concrete jungle. Suddenly, a man in ragged clothes stepped into his path. The man's eyes were tired, but his voice was clear. "Sir, please," he said, holding out a hand. "I haven't eaten all day. Can you help me with some food?" Marcus stopped, a condescending smirk spreading across his face. He reached into his pocket, pulled out a few coins, and tossed them contemptuously at the beggar's feet. "Here you go," Marcus sneered, his voice dripping with disdain. But a man who begs instead of works will stay poor forever with that attitude. A few passers-by who witnessed the scene chuckled, enjoying the spectacle. Everyone laughed except the beggar. He didn't flinch. Instead, he looked up at Marcus, a strange, calm smile on his face. He didn't pick up the coins. He just said softly, "Sir, never say never. Life has its own way of teaching us the lessons we need to learn." Marcus scoffed, dismissed the man as a delusional fool, and walked away, completely forgetting the encounter moments later. 2 years passed. For Marcus, those years were a blur of high-stakes deals and lavish parties. He felt invincible, but as the beggar had warned, life had a lesson in store for him. A massive fraud scandal erupted within his company, a scandal he had no knowledge of but was ultimately responsible for. The news spread like wildfire. The stock plummeted. His empire, which he thought was built on solid rock, crumbled into dust overnight. Investors who once praised his genius now called for his head. Friends who had once clinked champagne glasses with him suddenly stopped answering his calls. The bank seized his mansion, his luxury cars, his entire life. Marcus Gray, the man who had everything, was left with nothing but the designer suit on his back. He found himself wandering the same streets he once looked down upon with such scorn. He was homeless, hungry, and invisible. The humiliation was a physical pain. He who once judged the poor for their perceived laziness was now one of them. He learned what real hunger felt like, what the cold pavement felt like as a bed. Then, one miserable, rainy evening, as he huddled in a doorway trying to escape the downpour, a sleek black car pulled up to the curb. The passenger door opened. A man in a tailored suit stepped out, holding an umbrella. He walked directly toward Marcus. Marcus squinted, his mind foggy from exhaustion. "Do you remember me, sir?" the man asked, his voice calm and familiar. Marcus looked up, his heart stopping for a second. It was him. It was the beggar from 2 years ago, the one he had thrown coins at. But he was transformed. He looked successful, confident, and peaceful. Marcus froze, shame washing over him in a suffocating wave. He expected anger, maybe a lecture, or even revenge. Instead, the man smiled gently. "I never hated you for what you did," he said, his voice filled with an unexpected warmth. "I just prayed that one day you'd understand what true humility means. I prayed you'd see that wealth isn't what defines a person." The man extended a hand, not to ask for anything, but to offer help. He took a stunned Marcus to his foundation, a sprawling charity he had built from the ground up, dedicated to helping the homeless and the poor rebuild their lives. He had used a small inheritance to start a business, and his own experiences on the street fueled his passion to give back. Standing in the warm, bright halls of the foundation, watching people receive hot meals and kindness, Marcus finally broke. He wept not for his lost fortune, but for his lost soul. He cried for the man he had been, for the blindness and arrogance that had cost him everything. He realized that the beggar's quiet dignity held more value than all the billions he had ever made. Marcus started working at the foundation as a volunteer. He swept floors, served food, and listened to the stories of people he once would have ignored. He learned that the true value of a person isn't in their bank account, but in their heart, in their capacity for compassion. This story is a powerful reminder that life has a way of humbling the proud and lifting the humble. The tables can turn when we least expect it, so never, ever laugh at someone's situation, because tomorrow it might be yours. If this story touched your heart, please give it a like, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more powerful stories that remind us of what truly matters in life. Now, I want to hear from you. Comment below. Do you believe pride destroys more people than failure? Let's talk about it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.